What's poppin', Rocky Top? Welcome back to Poppin Politics, UT's very own political wrap-up show, where you learn about politics and I eat popcorn. I know I'm not actually eating popcorn today, but it's fine. We have a casual Friday moment here, as you can tell, and we're just gonna get this underway. So sit back, relax, I'm your host Evan Mays, and let's get started. With the primary process heavily underway and several states already making their decision, we at The Beacon want to give you an overview of the remaining Democratic candidates and what they stand for. A quick disclaimer though, we'll only be covering the top 5 candidates based on performances from the first 2 primary elections in Iowa and New Hampshire. First up is former Vice President Joe Biden. After more than 30 years in the United States Senate, Biden is most well known for being the 47th Vice President of the United States. Biden has run for president twice before, once in 1988 and once in 2008. In 1988, after being accused of plagiarism during his speeches, he withdrew his candidacy and focused on his career in the Senate. In 2008, after placing 5th in the Iowa caucuses, Biden again withdrew his candidacy, going on to be Barack Obama's running mate. After serving as vice president during both of President Obama's terms, Biden announced his candidacy for president of the United States once again in April of 2019. Biden has focused primarily on beating Donald Trump and claiming that he has the best shot at doing so, and also rebuilding the middle class. He was the frontrunner for the majority of 2019 in the 2020 Democratic primary, but slowly he has lost his status as the favorite. Senator Bernie Sanders and former Mayor Pete Buttigieg have effectively stolen the spotlight from Biden. After the results of the Iowa caucuses were finally released, it was revealed that Biden had placed 4th, with Buttigieg coming in a narrow first place, Sanders behind him, and Senator Elizabeth Warren coming in 3rd. Now on to the man on everyone's mind right now, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Sanders has been in politics for years, serving in Congress since 1991, both in the House and the Senate. Sanders ran against Secretary Hillary Clinton in the 2016 primary election, eventually dropping out to support her nomination. However, he received an incredible amount of notoriety through his candidacy, and he announced his candidacy for the 2020 primary election in February of 2019. Despite a few setbacks, including suffering a heart attack, Sanders has recently become a front-runner in the race. Sanders has been a strong advocate for Medicare for All, the idea that everyone should have government-funded health insurance and tuition-free college. Placing at a very close second in Iowa and first in New Hampshire, Senator Sanders is one to keep your eye on. Next up is former Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Pete, as he has come to be known, has been an underdog candidate from the start. Having very little background in politics, being the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, Buttigieg managed to rise through the polls after announcing his candidacy in January of 2019. Buttigieg has advocated strongly for reform within the Democratic Party, arguing that nothing else can be done until the system is fixed. Buttigieg is also the first openly LGBTQ presidential candidate to win delegates in a major party's primary, having won 13 delegates in Iowa and 9 in New Hampshire. He and his husband Chasten were married in June of 2018. Next, let's talk about Senator Elizabeth Warren. Senator Warren has been a phenomenon in the political spectrum for the last few years. She was elected to the United States Senate in 2012 and has since been a staunch advocate for economic reform in the United States. She has stated strong opposition to big banks and pharmaceutical companies. In February of 2019, Warren officially announced her candidacy for president. She and Bernie Sanders have somewhat aligned themselves, advocating for many of the same policies, such as Medicare for All and tuition-free college. Many analysts claim, however, that Warren has recently underperformed in the first 2 primaries, placing 3rd in Iowa and 4th in New Hampshire. But don't count Senator Warren out just yet. Last, let's look at Senator Amy Klobuchar. Klobuchar didn't have much name recognition or popularity in national polls going into the 2020 election, but much like Mayor Buttigieg, she has created an underdog story for herself. Klobuchar is a senator from Minnesota and has been since 2006. Much like many of her other opponents, she announced her candidacy in February of 2019. Despite underwhelming polls early on, after several successful performances in primary debates, Klobuchar has managed to climb back up in the race, so much so that she managed to upset the New Hampshire primary, placing 3rd ahead of both Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. Klobuchar, much like Biden and Buttigieg, has positioned herself as a moderate Democrat, advocating for a public option in healthcare reform reform as opposed to Medicare for all. She also gained notoriety for her questioning of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh during his contentious confirmation hearings. Alright everyone, that's it for us here at the Beacon. I hope that this has been super informative for all of you during this contentious primary election. With everything going on, it can be really hard to get the information that you need to make an educated vote. But I hope that this has helped you do that, and I can't wait to see all of you at the polls with your I voted stickers on. Remember, the Tennessee primary is March 3rd, and early voting is happening now. So make sure to get out to your local polling station and cast your vote. Thank you all so much. My name is Evan Mays, signing off.